right, welcome back to the show. Today we got a special guest, Christine Valdez, and I know a little bit about her. I'm excited to learn more, and we definitely appreciate her coming on the show. So, Christine, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. So, give us a quick background of who you are and what you're doing right now, and then would love to kind of dive into your story.
Sure. Well, right now I'm a regional sales director at a very large pharmaceutical company. Been doing that for 30 years. I'm still at my full-time job. I'm also a real estate investor. We also own a digital marketing company. And so I've done some capital raising for a private equity firm. So we do a lot. But that's who I am today. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I know you speak about leadership and everything. I want to dive into that. But what's your real estate portfolio look like?
Right now we have single family homes in California and Texas. We've done a couple of flips. I don't like flipping. I don't even know why I did flipping to begin with. Like everyone who gets into real estate investing, they start with flipping, right? They start with wholesaling or flipping or burring and all that stuff. And then I realized, okay, I'm going to flip, and I hate flipping. I'm one of those people that just don't like flipping. I don't like fixing this stuff. And then we've LP'd on a couple of apartment, multifamily complexes. We have multifamily ourselves, joint ventures in Texas. And then we've invested in a land development deal, just did a safe note for a femtech company. And we're actually looking at some SPVs right now. So yeah, we're very diversified.
That's awesome. So, and I got to ask, I'd have, I think, two buddies that invest in California, but obviously just with landlord tenant laws are way different between Texas and California. How does that work?
Yeah, don't invest in the counties that are not landlord friendly, which are most of them, but we're in Ventura County. So even though we're right at the bottom of Ventura County that butts up against LA County, we don't invest in LA County because the landlord laws are not supportive. I like California because I'm from California. Now, of course, I live in Dallas now, but I like California because I just know the area. Appreciation is really high. Rents are high. So to me, it's been a very good investment for my husband and I, just because our houses are like, one of our houses, I think, appreciated 500,000 in 3 years. So I mean, you can't take that away, right? You can't take away that 22% appreciation. Even on a bad year, I'm going to still get 8%. So
That's great.
Yeah. So the landlord laws, what we do also is we only look at A neighborhoods. We don't look at B or C. So we're always going to get higher quality tenants. We have higher qualifications too. Like we're asking for a 720 FICO score. We're looking for so much money in their bank account. So we look for different types of tenants. So it's a little bit different. You're getting more responsible, not say responsible people, but we're getting more people that don't want anything digging their credit, right? So when I look at stuff in California, I'm looking at those A neighborhoods and I'm looking at those A properties. I'm not looking at C or B at all. So
interesting. Yeah. Is it, I don't say harder, but compare Texas to California as far as finding deals.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder. The deals are going to be a little bit more expensive. So I was looking at a couple of houses by our other houses in California, and the starting wholesale price is like $850,000, right? Right? So you're going to have to take a note. If you do a hard money loan, you're going to have to take a note for that much. You have to qualify for that, or you're going to have to put more down. So yeah, it's going to be a higher priced number if you're looking at those A neighborhood properties, but the return is higher. So 850, but the house really is worth 1.3 million. You put $100,000 in, now you got more than 20% equity, right? So the numbers are going to be higher, but the reward at the end is a little bit higher. And there's different ways to do it, right? If you're living in California, you can do it by yourself if you have the right income. Hence part of the reason why I don't leave my job, right? I'd have to keep that income part. But you can also do it in partnerships with the right partners. Do the background check, please. But you can do it in different ways. You can do it with private money. There's a lot of private money lenders out there where you can do a joint type of, there's always first lien, but you can do this joint second lien thing. So there's different ways to stack the capital for you to be able to afford it. I have a friend, she got this really expensive property in Texas, and she actually stacked the capital. She had 4 investors give her money to buy this $650,000 property, which she didn't use any of her own capital. She had someone give her capital for the fix. She had somebody give her capital for the wholesale down payment. She had someone give her capital for, so she had a big capital stack. But she fixed the house, refinanced. The house is now worth 1.2 million. So
Wow.
totally worth it, right? You just have to look at the numbers correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Are you doing, and I know California with real estate investors, co-living is a big thing. Are you guys doing any of that?
Yeah. No,
No?
I'm not. It's so funny. There's so much you can do with real estate, right? You can do co-living, you can do, you know, Airbnbs, midterm, long term, you can do BRRRRs, you can do a place for nurses, you can do, a place for airline, just flight attendants and
Yeah.
pilots. I mean, there's so much. But what I've realized is that when I got into real estate investing, I was so interested in everything. I was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And I realized, even with the flipping, like I'm not going to do things I don't like to do, right? I actually don't like landlording either. So I have actually a private property manager that manages the properties out there. But I like looking at the numbers. So I actually like looking at deals and making, negotiating. I mean, I think that's what I really am good at. And then really identifying if it's a good deal. That's like me. But I'm not going to do the co-living or anything like that if it's just not something that I'm really interested in and something that I really believe in. I think the co-living makes sense, right? But again, it's not going to fall into the areas that we want,
Yep.
right? So if I'm going to A level property, I'm not going to have a co-living in an A level. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
not common, and it's not going to be common in an A neighborhood. That's just how it
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and you said something powerful that you're sticking to what you know and what you're good at, right? And I
Mhm.
think for whatever reason, and I've been in full-time real estate investor for what, 6 years now, but
Mhm.
have been investing for almost 11 years. And I think the past year, 2 years, I've seen more people bounce around to asset
Yeah.
class to asset class. And the ones that I see really succeeding are the ones just putting their nose down and sticking to what they've known and what they're good
Yeah.
at.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true because you keep jumping, that's when you start losing money.
Yep.
Because we were jumping a little bit in the beginning. I was like, oh gosh, this is not working for us. And then it takes too much energy away. Someone told me when I first started, they said, just focus on one thing. And I'm like, I like focusing on a lot of things. But I think I multitask a lot. But what she was really telling me was focus on one asset class and get really good at it,
Yep.
right? And then you'll realize what you're really good at, and then you'll stick with that, and you're going to be successful
Yep.
doing what you're really good at versus not successful doing a lot of different things. So
Yep.
it makes sense.
100%. 100%. Well, I wanna learn more about, your 9 to 5 and your sales, leadership position, but first, I wanna know, how do you balance that with, obviously, all the real estate and everything you have going on
Yeah,
the side?
it's been, look, I'll be honest, it's been a struggle. Just to be really honest with you and your listeners. People always talk about this is how we balance it. It's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy because also being a female, being a mom, and you have that
Mm.
nurture thing, cleaning the house, and I'm obsessed with cleaning my kitchen. Have to clean it every night. There's just a whole thing. But there is I actually calendar every Sunday. So there's a couple things that I put in place. So I calendar every Sunday. So during NFL season, we have the games on. I'm sitting on the couch. I have this fold out table and I have 2 laptops. And so I basically do all my calendaring during the NFL games, right? Or whatever sports are on, and my husband's watching. And I calendar so I can see my week ahead of time. And then lots of people say time block, time block. I time block everything. And I know it's a little crazy, but this is just the way my brain works. But I time block if I have to go to the airport, I'll time block how much time it's going to take me to get to the airport and get through security. And I will block out that time. And then I'll know, like, okay, if I get through security and I have 30 minutes, oh, maybe I can do a 15-minute call there
Yeah.
while I'm standing in front of the gate, right? So I'll actually plan all of that out in order to find the time to get it all done. So like this morning, I knew gosh, I have a lot of work to do today. I'm going to take lunch to do this podcast. I'm going to take lunch at this time. So I knew today my lunch break was with you. All right.
Oh, well,
So
appreciate you taking
yeah,
your lunch
but
break
I
with
knew
us.
that I knew I had more to do, and I know that I had stuff that I want to do in the weekend. So I get up a little bit earlier. So maybe instead of getting up at 6, I'll get up at 5 and do that extra hour. Last night I knew, okay, I'm gonna have to stay up a little bit later. So I was up until 11. Now, is that doable for everybody? No. Do I do it every single day? No, I don't. But I time block in order to get what I need to get done.
Yeah.
And then I know what's most important. So part of the time blocking is identifying, okay, what are the most important things that I got to get done this week that are going to drive my day job, my business forward faster, that's going to provide the best value to the people that I lead. So those are the most important things that I put on the block to get done. And then for my personal business, okay, do I need to do studying? Do I need to do this or that? So last night I was up till 11, but from 8 to 11, I wasn't doing my day job stuff. I was doing personal stuff for my business, looking at
Mhm.
properties, doing all that kind of, listening to, actually I was listening to a YouTube from Myron Golden. So I was listening to a YouTube from him, I got caught up watching that for like an hour, but I wanted to fill my brain. I knew that I needed time for myself to fill my brain with
Mm.
good stuff that was positive, that was inspirational, but also with good tactics that I can use to really drive my business personally, but also for my job. So that's how I try to balance it. It's not perfect right now. It's not perfect, but I do block in my acupuncture. I do block in my massages. I do block in the red light therapies. I have all of that stuff. But if you ask my husband, he's going to say no. There's no balance. But I think I'm getting there. So
Well, listen, you're 0.1% of the people that actually time block and plan out their day and their week, it sounds like. And I think the most successful people do that, right? Because if you're
yeah,
not, you're just going where the next fire takes you
yeah,
and
exactly.
not really gaining traction. You're not gaining ground. So I think that's so powerful too. Especially, I kind of have an idea of what my week will look like, but I don't time
Mhm.
block nearly like what you do, and I'm sure that's, you know, part of your success because you time block like this.
You have
Plan.
to, and it's a habit. It's hard when you first start doing it, but once you start doing it every single week, it becomes a habit, right? Because it takes 60 days. It's not 21 days, really. It's actually 60 days to form a habit. I realized because, when you try to not eat junk food and then 21 days later you eat junk food. So it really takes about 2 months. I think the studies show that it takes about 2 months to form a habit. So once you start doing it every Sunday, and that's really 60 days is really 8 Sundays, right? So I would say do it 8 Sundays in a row. And then all of a sudden you're going to just automatically do it. It's just going to be part of what you do. And then it's going to be weird when you don't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. That's awesome. All right, so tell us about, I guess, what do you how do you see leadership? And obviously, it sounds like you're 9 to 5. You're in a leadership position. So,
Mhm.
kind of take us through anything you
Yeah.
got on leadership, how you see it, building culture,
Yeah.
all that.
I really see it's interesting because if you asked me this question 20 years ago when I first became a leader, I'd probably repeat everything everyone said, right? Oh, leadership is this, leadership is that, it's about being this. And it's funny because back then when I first became a leader, it was like 25 years ago. Oh my gosh, I'm getting old. A long time ago, when I first became a leader, I didn't know how to be a leader. So I was just emulating everyone I saw, right? All the men. There was a lot of men.
Mm.
But that didn't fit me because I'm a female. So it was really hard for me to really gauge like, okay, this is how I talk to someone about performance issues. This is how I need to do. And what I have found over time is being a great leader is really being someone who is, and it's so cliche because people go, oh, servant leadership, right? They always talk about servant leadership, but it's really about, for me, it's about providing as much value as possible to the people I lead. And the value could be different for each person, right? So the value could be like, I'm going to give them mindset coaching. I'm going to pump them up, but I'm going to tell them how great they are, but I'm also going to give them some tips and tactics on how to get their mindset right. Sometimes it's about teaching them how to do the data right. Sometimes it's about teaching them sales. Sometimes it's just an ear to listen to. Sometimes it's about financial advice, wealth advice. Buy a house, don't waste your money on stuff, right? buy a freaking house right now, invest in something, right? But whatever it is, I'm trying to provide value every conversation I have. Is it perfect? No, but I am trying to, that's the goal. Because if I can take people who I lead to the next level, whether it's at work, whether it's personally, whether it's at another job that they go to, and I see them successful, then I've done my job. I've
So
done
it
my
sounds
job.
like you have to sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It sounds like you have to be really in tune with people, and if you are, how do you do that?
I watch a lot. Yes. People, I'm chit-chatty. I'm a chit-chatty person, but I watch when we're in groups, I watch people, I watch their reactions, I watch what they say. I really listen to the words that they use. So for example, there's a woman that I managed before and she was brilliant. I mean, she was such a talented salesperson, but I noticed that every time she talked about herself or talked about things she did, she put herself down.
Hmm.
So she had comments and she would always put herself down before she made a statement. And and I had to tell her, "Hey, why are you putting yourself down every time you make a statement?" And she goes, "What do you mean?" I told her what she does and she starts crying on me. And she's just crying and crying. And it was just like for her, that's why she never felt really good. I mean, we had a long conversation. That's why she never really felt really good about herself, even though she had success, because she kept putting herself down
Yeah.
every single day. Right. So it's really about really intentionally listening. So my husband knows that when I go out of town and I do certain things with my team, I only talk to him in the morning and I talk to him at the end of the day. I can't really converse too much during the day because I'm really focused on being intentional about what I'm saying, intentional about what I'm listening to. And I take all that information and I put it in the back of my brain, I save it. And it's a skill set that you have to learn. It takes time to really be intentional and be present, right? Be present and really, so that's why people go, "How do you remember what happened 10 years ago in detail?" I go, "Because it was present and I have it all in the back of my brain." But it gives you, when you watch people, it gives you insight into who they are and it gives you insight into, how they talk. And many times, the bottom line is people do want to be loved, right? People want to be
Mhm.
appreciated. I mean, that's really ultimately what people want.
Yeah.
If they want accolades, it's because they want appreciation. If they want to be noticed, it's because they need love. It's all about that, but it's just how it's presenting itself and how you can get them to listen to you because you're listening to them, right? Hopefully
Yeah.
that all makes sense. Yeah.
No, that definitely does. That's great. Do you have like goal meetings, goal setting meetings with each person or as a team? Do you do any of the goal setting?
Yeah, I have a bunch of managers that report to me. My last company, I had managers that report to me as well. So, yeah, we have business reviews, right? We don't have a quarterly business reviews. They set business plans. Of course, in my industry, there are goals that are set up, but in their business plans, they should set up like how are they going to hit those business objectives, right? Or those business goals. How are you going to do that? And so in those plans, people build it based on their markets, based on the customers they have, based on their skill set, right? And they build those plans. And then instead of looking at it quarterly, I really encourage people to look at it monthly. Like if your goal is to hit 100 sales of these widgets, okay, after a month, if you've used the tactic consistently, then at the end of the month, you can say, okay, did I hit it and why? Why did I hit it? I'm going to keep doing that more. If I didn't hit it, what am I not doing or what should I do otherwise? And make
Mhm.
those adjustments into your plan. The challenge I've seen is that people build plans, but they don't consistently do them. That's the biggest thing that I've seen. Like, okay, I'm going to sell 100 widgets, but I'm not going to I'm going to do this to get 100 widgets, but then you don't do it. You just do what you did last time,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So you have to be really
Or
honest with yourself. Did you do that? And you didn't, right? Yes.
yeah. Or they've got this big lofty goal and they don't break it down to basic steps and
You have
small
to.
wins, right?
Yeah, you have the strategy, right? And then from the strategy, you have your what you want to accomplish. And then from there, you have each step. And what I've found is that if you're doing each step, you can technically, like when I, was in actual sales, not in leadership, I had my goal sheet and I knew what tactics I wanted to do. At the end of each week, I would type up on that goal sheet what I did towards those
Mhm.
tactics. And if at the end of the week I had nothing to put, I know that I didn't work on it. So, and then what was nice about capturing everything I did towards those tactics, at the end of the quarter, I could sit down with my leader and say, well, this is everything I did because I captured everything. I didn't have to go back and remember, what did I do 2 months ago? What did I do 6 weeks ago? Because I was capturing it every week, like what I was doing. Now, yes, it's a little anal, but believe me, when you're trying to get a promotion and you're trying to prove to your boss that, I deserve a promotion, look at everything I did and you have it all captured, it's a very easy sell.
Yeah.
Very easy sell.
What have you learned at your job that you've been able to bring over to your side hustle?
The consistency, I would say. Um, what I've noticed at my job, I'm rarely consistent about the things that I do. Like I'm really like religious about, going through my calendars once a week, doing this, doing that. Like there is in order to manage a really large team, you have to be consistent with certain communications. You have to be consistent with emails. I do the same things every day. I check my emails at the same time. I respond there's like systems that I put in place. And what I realized is that when I went to my side hustle, it was like a side hustle and I had no systems, right? When you go into your side hustles, you have no systems. This is what I'm doing. You have no consistency. You're like, I'm going to do a little bit today. You don't do anything for a couple of days. Okay, I have some time. I'm going to do it here, right? I'll squeeze it in. But what I found was in order for me to ramp up quickly in my side hustle and my real estate investing and understand it, I actually had to put 2 hours a night at the end of the day and study. So for the first 2 years of real estate investing, I literally it was every single night, Monday through Friday from 9 to 11, I studied. And I know it's like, okay, but I religiously 9 to 11 for 2 years, I studied. And then on Saturdays, I went to this real estate investing group on Saturdays. Started at 9, I would get there late. It was a little late, but I would get there around 10 because that's when the talk started. So I'd be there from 10 to 1 until everybody left. But I was there religiously every Saturday. And that helped me talk to different investors, get the lingo down, meet other people, show my consistency in, who I was to the other investors that were more experienced, right? And so I think that really helped me in learning real estate investing better because I had, I think the first like 2 months I was kind of like, what? But then afterwards I gotta get this down and I have to be consistent. And I've just built that into my schedule. And so if I was out of town, because at the time I was in California, so if I was out of town on the East Coast, I would still do 9 to 11, right? Even though I had to get up at like 5 a.m. in the morning Eastern time, which is 2 o'clock in the morning, my body's time, right? I still kept the same schedule. So dinner would end. I'd get back to the hotel room at 8:45, open my computer. I do the same studying. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, my schedule sounded I don't think I was up till 11, but,
Mhm.
similar. When I was in my 9 to 5 and trying to break out, it was trying to doing my side hustle from probably 8 to 10 at
Yeah,
night. You just
exactly.
find a way, right? You just
You
find a
find a
way to
way.
make it happen, and the consistency piece is what I see, the people that are, the most successful, it's boring, right?
Mhm.
Especially when you're month 2, 3, 6, you haven't seen any wins, but you just
Yeah,
keep going every day. Eventually, it's gonna snowball, right?
it does. It does.
But
Well, and then
which
the
sounds
the
like
knowledge that you have all of a sudden kicks in. It's like that
yeah,
6-month period, that knowledge kicks in. You're like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know that," because things get repeated. And it's funny because that 8 to 10 that you're doing, you're dedicating 10 hours a week to it. I mean, it's
yeah,
not that much time. What
yeah.
would we be doing otherwise from 8 to 10 or 9 to
Scrolling,
like, what? I'd be scrolling.
yeah,
Doom scrolling, I'd be sleeping. I'd
yeah,
be watching some YouTube video. I'd be watching maybe I watch TV. I don't watch TV during the week anymore,
yeah.
only on the weekends. But yeah, we would be wasting I mean, think about if people looked at their schedule and they wrote down everything they did hour to hour for 3 days, they would find 10 hours.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Easily. And I know you said you watch sport, and I'm a big sports fan, I'm a big basketball fan, but as I've gotten older, TV, sports, all that has become. I realized, younger, but I wasted
Mhm.
so many hours just
It's a
sitting on
sec
that couch,
Mhm.
just watching a box, and it's
Yeah,
like I didn't get any. Now there's time for entertainment, right? There's
yeah,
time for that, but I get no value out of that, and it's literally not doing anything positive in my life. It's
yeah,
basically all
yeah,
negative. Other than
yeah.
you need entertainment, right? You need
So,
some of
yeah,
that,
you
but
need entertainment. Sometimes you
mm,
need the getaway, right? You need to
yeah.
get away from the
But my guess is people are spending, who knows, 3 to
more
6
hours.
hours a day
Yeah.
on that stuff, just
Even if you
mind-numbing.
do the 30 minutes, even if you can't do 2 hours and you still need your TV, even if you dedicated 30 minutes a day just to reading a book on business, 30
Yep,
minutes.
yep,
Literally, that's probably, depending on how fast you read, it's 15 pages. You will get
yep,
through 35 books a year
yep.
doing
Now
that.
people don't read books nowadays.
Yeah.
People
Well, Audible it, something, right?
Yeah.
But that's
Pe
what I'm saying.
well, no,
It's
I'm saying people do, but it's usually the successful people, right? The people that
that's
wanna
yeah.
do something else. I don't
Yeah,
think the people that we're kinda talking about that are watching TV for 7 hours a day, they're not reading books, right? Their
yeah,
books are the TV,
yeah.
unfortunately.
It's a
That's why
no.
they're stuck where they are.
Well, that's why you're podcasting. So hopefully they'll watch your podcast instead,
Yeah,
right?
there we go. Um, so it sounds like you love your job. Do you have
I
any plans of, and I know this is being recorded, so I don't know how much you can't say
I
truthfully, but do you have any plans of leaving that at some point in the future and do
so many when I first started real estate investing, like full-fledged, not like, doing a couple flips here and there, people are like, "Oh, are you gonna leave your job?" I go, "Yeah, I'm gonna leave in like 2 years," because that was the big thing, right? 2021. Everybody's saying, "Yeah, you left your job." I realized I don't need to leave my job. I really don't. I mean, that's what everybody else does. That doesn't mean that's what I need to do, number
Yep.
1. Number 2, I love my job. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I did switch companies, a year ago, but I still like just seeing the growth in people. Like I just there's just so much reward I get from that that
Mhm.
it's hard for me to say I'm going to leave. Now, of course, if I all of a sudden start making like bajillions of dollars, I may consider it, but I don't have any intention on leaving because I do love what I do and the people that I work with and just how much we're influencing, how much, I get to influence them and provide value to them and how much they're influencing, the people that they work with. It's so funny because when you lead a large group, like you probably have a team also, everything that you put into your team, that multiplies because they
Yep.
put that same thing, whatever they're learning from you, they're putting that into other people too, that they come across. And so, like, imagine all the goodness that we can spread by constantly providing that value and building people up every single day, they start building other people up and it multiplies quicker.
Yep.
So no, I don't have any intention on I think I can balance it unless my body says, no, Christine, you can't do two things.
Right. Right.
Right.
What's a couple last questions here. What's 3 or 4 of your top books that you've gained the most value from?
Oh gosh. Okay. So there was a book I read. Okay. So I'm a big reader. Now I don't read the way I used to read. I told somebody earlier, I said the way I read now is I get a book and I kind of like look at the different chapters and I try to read the chapters I want because I
That's
don't have a lot
interesting.
of time, but I try to
Yeah.
read the most important chapters. But that's why I read like multiple books at the same time.
Yeah.
And I used to read 35 to 50 books a year. So I'm a big
Wow.
reader. And I would stay up late. And the problem was I would stay up till like 3 o'clock reading and then I'd have to be up at 5.
Right.
Not good.
Can't do that for very long.
But there was a book that I read, oh gosh, how old was I? It was a long time ago. It's like 1998. Okay, I'm aging myself. Um, it was called The Millionaire Next Door.
Yeah. Yep.
And I picked up this book and I read it was a long time ago. It had just come out. And it was such a good book because it talked about because my view of what a millionaire was a person with this, Lamborghini and a big gigantic house, right? And it really gave me perspective on what a millionaire is,
Yep.
right? That a millionaire isn't those fancy people that you see on TV, right? It could be someone that's living right next door to you,
Yep.
right? They could be a millionaire. And it doesn't have to be flashy, it doesn't have to be and being a millionaire doesn't mean you have $1,000,000, but it could be your net worth. So it really gave me a little bit more perspective on what being a millionaire was because my view was so look, I grew up in LA. It was about
Yeah.
nice cars, big houses, expensive clothing, right? Brand labels. So that was a really eye-opening book for me. I would say another book for me was I did read The Power of Habit. So I read it I did a trilogy. I called it my habit trilogy. So I read Power of Habit, Atomic Habits, and Compound Effect all together. Now, Power of Habit is very scientific, which is, goes into science, gets a little boring for some people, but I really felt like that was a good baseline, and it's a thick book. It's a good baseline before you get to Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is more tactical, and then Compound Effect kind of gives you the why, right? So it's more like or maybe like more of the, it's all of those three together were a good trilogy for me. So I say, instead of reading Atomic Habits by itself, I would put it together with Power of Habit and Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, right? So I put those three together versus just doing one. And then I read this book by a pastor. His name was, what is his name again? Robert Morris. Now, of course, if you look in the news, there's been stuff about Robert Morris, but it doesn't take away the stuff that he did his whole life for Christianity and stuff, or just for people. But he wrote a book called The Blessed Life, and it goes into biblically about tithing and about giving back. And it really gave me a different view of, because a lot of times when you don't have a lot of money, you hold on to your money like this. Yep. Right. And you're just so afraid to use it. Now I don't look at money that way. I feel like there's an abundance. Yep. There's an abundance of money, and I will freely give it because more is coming. It's easy to get money, right? I mean, you're an investor. It's easy to get money, believe it or not, for most people. But that book really taught me about how, and my belief is it really isn't my money. God is giving me the money, and I'm supposed to use it to spread his kingdom, or help people, right? And so the more you give, the more you're given in return. And look, I get a little scientific because I read that book and I go, okay, I'm going to test you. And I actually started with my husband, and I were we got really not religious, but we got very consistent about tithing. And then as we began to tithe more, our income grew 10 times every year. Yep. So it was unbelievable because I'm like, what? And I literally put it on a spreadsheet because I almost had to check it. And you can see our tithing, and then our income went like that. Yep. Over a 7-year period. It was incredible.
It's wild how that happens. I had a similar, still have similar, and it doesn't always have to look the way you think it should look, right? Now we still give money, or donate money, but now we have a team, right? We can take care of that. That's still giving, right?
Yeah, it is.
But it's amazing. As soon as we started donating and giving, not hanging on to that money.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it just takes off. It's not overnight, right? But I think a lot of people are like, I just donated $500. Where's this raise I'm getting? It's not how it happens, right?
That's not how it happens.
Reasons. And continue to do it and stay patient. But it's amazing how it follows.
Yeah. But it's not about, okay, you give this, you're going to get that 10 times back. It's a heart issue, right? It's about you. It's about you and not holding on to your money like, oh my gosh, it's going to disappear. It's going to disappear. Yep. When you finally let go, then you're able to, and if you take away the religious part of it, you're able to actually be in that frequency to let it flow through 100%. You, and then it just comes. So it's hard, sometimes it's a hard concept for some people to understand if they've never done it before. But man, that book was, I read it and I'm like, oh my God, that was so good. And then I read it again. I think I read it 3 times in a row because I really wanted to make sure I got the concepts down. But man, it was very eye-opening for me. Because
and those people are thinking, I don't have whatever $500,000 to spare. It doesn't have to be that. It can be 5. It can be 1, right? You got to start somewhere.
I literally started with $10.
It's got to come from the heart, and it's just got to be continuous. You can't just hang on to your money because it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's funny how when you start giving, I started with $10 a week, then I went up to 20, and then I went up to 80. You realize when you start giving that you can live off the 90%. and you feel like you have more because you gave and you're like, oh, I don't have, I wasn't, stuck with not enough money. You actually feel like you have more because you gave away money. It's a weird, it's not weird, but it's amazing, like what it does to you and what it does to your relationship with money,
Yep.
right? So yeah.
100%. So good. So good. Well, let's transition, based on my last question.
Okay.
What's your 1, 5, 10-year goals?
1, 5, 10 years. So my 1 year goal. Okay, I'm gonna put this on a podcast. Yes, I am. I'm actually applying to be on a TEDx. What? Yes, I am. So we'll see. We'll see if I get a TEDx. So I'm hoping that yeah, it's hard. It's a long process to get on one. So that's a 1 year.
Yeah.
I would say 5 year. I'd like to start, I'm doing the podcast because someone told me, it's actually at church. Someone told me, like, why aren't you on podcasts? You're so animated. I'm like, oh, I don't know if animated is good for podcasting because that's on the radio, right? She goes, no, but you have a lot to share and you've gone through so much. And I said,
Yep.
yeah, no one wants to listen to me. And she said, well, then you're being selfish. I said,
Yep.
what do you mean? What are you talking about? She goes, because you're thinking more about you than about the people that you're going to help or provide value to. So I would like in the next 5 years, I'll continue, doing podcasts. Maybe I'll do my own. I don't know yet, but I'd like to find more ways to provide value and to help, get a lot of the stuff that's in my brain over the last 50 years and really share that with people so I can lift up more people financially. That's what I'd like to do. If I can share, don't put your money in your savings, put it in something that's going to actually get a higher return than 2%. If I can get more people to start thinking differently about money and start investing differently and lift other people, but my goodness, imagine we. So that's 5 years, and then 10 years. I mean, gosh, by that point, I'd love to, be retired and just relaxing and doing, what I love, which is just really helping as many people as possible. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is.
That's awesome. That's, well, we were talking before we started. That's, I kind of asked you like, hey, if you want to promote anything, and obviously
Mhm.
we'll talk about that if people want to find you. Like, no, I don't have anything to promote. That's to me rare. I mean, I don't either, right? And
Mhm.
I think that's we need more people like you that are
Mhm.
willing to share information. Excuse me, share stories because it's
Yeah,
inspirational, right? There's going to be someone somewhere, and your friend was so right that it's selfish to hang on to whatever knowledge.
exactly.
And think about yourself, like, oh, I don't want to do a podcast. I'm whatever. You're not an introvert, but for myself, I was
Yeah.
introverted and like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to put myself out there. It is a selfish thing because it's like you've done all these great things. Now share it, right? And you
Yeah.
can continue to do great things, but keep sharing and bring more people with you and the right people. There are people, even if it's one person, right? They're going
Yeah.
to help somebody somewhere.
Exactly. And look, I was one of those people that paid a lot of money for courses. Now, there's nothing wrong with courses.
Yep.
I paid a lot of money though. I paid like the 20,000s, the 40,000s, the 30,000. Paid a lot of money for courses. Now, gave me a lot of knowledge, but I felt like some of the courses that I purchased or programs that I purchased, I didn't get as much knowledge as I thought I would,
Yeah.
right? And I don't think that's right. When someone's taking there are people out there that have taken their entire savings to buy these courses and they're still not getting all the information. They kind of like that just okay, I won't say anything bad. But that it doesn't sit right with me, right?
Yeah.
And so like
The
if I, for
gurus.
example, want to provide a course in the future, I'm not going to charge $20,000,
Yep.
right? I want to make sure that if I provide some information, if I ended up doing something to monetize, that it's going to be not I won't say affordable, but it's going to be something where people get 10 times out of it.
Yep.
That or 20 times out of it. Instead of people coming into programs and paying $20,000 and they're not getting all the information and they're doing bad deals and they're losing more money, right?
Yep.
We don't want that. And so
Yep.
by me going on podcasts, by you doing a podcast, we're providing all of this other information to people so that they become more knowledgeable so they don't have to pay the $20,000 for all the
Yep.
information, right?
Yep.
So
I could go on a 3-hour rant about gurus and people not actually doing people not actually doing what they're coaching or they failed at
Yes,
it miserably and
yes.
coaching. Can't stand it. But yeah, that's a whole nother
It's
episode.
a whole yeah,
But yeah,
I can jump on that bandwagon with you, and I could talk with you for, like, another 10. So,
yep.
I
Yep.
spent a
But yeah,
lot,
the
like
information's out there.
150,000. So, yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Yep. And the information's out there, right? Like you can
Yeah,
find any information you want. The power with some of those are the groups, and I'm part of one, are
yeah,
the people that are around you.
yeah, it is.
Otherwise, the information you need, you can find for free.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny that you said the people that are around you, because I do invest in masterminds and getting the right people around me,
Yep.
because it's true, you do become the 5 people you spend the most
Oh, yeah.
time with, or and someone else will tell you, your income is equal to the 10 people you spend the most time with.
Yep.
I regularly check that because I'm like, okay, what's happening here? So,
Yep.
you do, and so my husband and I have gone through this process where we're pretty selective about who we spend our time with.
Yep.
It's not just about money, but it's about how people think. It's about
Yep.
the frequency they have, the state of mind that they have, because you
Yep.
pick up that. If they're super negative all the time, you're going to be super negative all the time.
Yep.
So you have to be particular about that too. So.
100%. How they live their life, all those things.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
I mean, you're drinking all the time, more than likely, if I hang out with you, I'll be drinking all the time, so,
yeah.
yeah.
100%. Awesome. Well, this has been great. Definitely appreciate you coming on. Before we go, if people want to reach out, where can they find you?
Well, I do have a website. It's christinevaldez.com, so Valdez with an S, not a Z. And if you want more information, I do have PDFs, like free information that I could give you. Just go to the bottom of the page and fill out your name and information, and I'll go ahead and send it to you.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, again, thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge. And we'll see everyone next time.
Bye. Thanks.